Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to everyone joining us from different parts of the world. My name is Ms. Shazia Shabbir, and I'll be the moderator for today's online webinar session. On behalf of OPTOBHARAT, I warmly welcome you all to this global case based learning program. It's truly wonderful to see participants joining us from India, the Middle East, Africa, Europe, the USA, Australia, and many other regions. Your presence reflects the global commitment we all share towards improving eye care. Today's webinar focuses on a highly important and practical topic in pediatric eye care: pediatric refraction, a case based clinical approach. Pediatric refraction requires more than technical skills. It demands patience, clinical judgment, and age appropriate strategies. Through real life cases, today's session aims to enhance diagnostic accuracy and clinical confidence in pediatric practice. It is my great pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker, Mr. Abdessamad Khaldoun from Morocco. Mr. Khaldoun is a dedicated and experienced eye care professional with a strong expertise in pediatric refraction and clinical case based learning. We're honored to have him share his knowledge and practical insights with our global OptoBharat community. In today's session, participants can expect case based pediatric refraction discussions, practical clinical tips for daily practice, age appropriate refraction techniques, and evidence based clinical decision making. This session is valuable for optometrists, orthoptists, ophthalmic assistants, eye care professionals, and optometry students. But before I begin, a few important points. Please keep your microphones muted throughout the session. Kindly post your questions in the chat box. We'll take questions during the Q&A session at the end, subject to time availability. Please maintain professional decorum during the webinar. Now, without further delay, I want to invite our speaker to begin the session. Mr. Abdessamad Khaldoun, this virtual floor is all yours.
Hello everyone. Thank you very much. And thank you for OPTOBHARAT for this invitation. I hope you will find this presentation very helpful to all of you. And I know that pediatric refraction is very hard, but I will do my best to make it very easy for all of you. So we will get into the plan. So our plan is in the chapter number one, we'll discuss the visual development. We'll talk about the visual development, how the visual development are began, etc. And then we'll enter to the retinoscopy. We'll talk about retinoscopy, how we can manage retinoscopy, etc. And then we'll talk about cycloplegic drop, which is one of the important part actually in the pediatric refraction. And then after that, in the end, we will see some simulated retinoscopy. We discuss some clinical cases, studies, etc. So let's go into it. So the chapter number one, the visual development. Before we go to this chapter, I want to see that there is an important thing about pediatric uh, population, which is we are dealing with an eye that is not stable. Okay, so if we see some adult, we are know that that adult have in his axial length 24 millimeter or 23.27 millimeter, etc. So we know that if we see that patient in the next year will find the same axial length, right? So in the pediatric population, it's it's not work like that. We are dealing with something it's not stable, something there is a huge percentage that it will um, develop it, etc. So the first thing that I want to talk about, which is the important thing, it's the emitter position. So what is emitter position? Emitter position is the processes of achieving emetropia and involves a reduction in the refractive error that is present at birth. So I want you to forget all about this and focus on this important um, yellow uh, phrase, which is the refractive error that is present at birth. So we are hearing the refractive error, okay, and it present at birth. What it means? It means that each kid or each baby born in this world is born with a refractive error. Yes, and we are all born with a refractive error. The question is, what kind of refractive error? Because there's a lot of refractive errors, right? So what kind of refractive error and why we are born with this kind of refractive error? What is um, the goal of that? So to understand more about this, we'll talk about this image. So on this image, we can see that um, this is the newborn eyeball. So what I mean by a newborn? The newborn is a term, uh, it's a term on a baby who's born like 1 week or 2 weeks. So the newborn is a period, okay? So this is an eyeball of a newborn patient. Of course, it's less than 23 millimeters, which is the normal. Okay, it's 17 millimeters. So this is the normal axial length of a newborn. Okay, so this is 17 millimeters. The image it's behind the retina. So we see that the image is formed behind the retina. The image remain in the same position, okay, while the axial length of the eye increase in order to reach the image. So the image it will stay in the same place, but the axial length it will be more year by year. For example, if I see a patient with 17 millimeters, next year it will be 17.5 millimeters, etc. Okay, so that's why we all born with plus 2 diopter to plus 3 diopter. Okay, that's why we all born with hypermopia. Okay, so uh, a immature position is the processes during which the eye develop to reach emmetropia. So this is the definition. This is the real definition of emmetroposition. Position. Emmetroposition is the process during which the eye develop to reach emmetropia, which refers to a person who has no refractive error. Okay, this is a study done in uh, 2005. It's an old study that shows that most of the newborn, the normal newborn born with a refractive error of plus 2 diopter. If you see someone with minus 2 diopter, now we are talking about a pathological myopia. So this is kind of patient that if you see them at the age of 18 years old, you will see that they have minus 30 diopter, minus 25 diopter, because they're born with a myopia. Okay, so the normal part is hyperopia. Now, let's go to the next slide. So this is actually very interesting. Why? Because we are seeing the visual acuity or the colors, especially the colors, and we see the visual acuity in some studies I will discuss after. So a lot of optometrists or orthoptists or ophthalmologists, etc., when they see a patient with 3 years old or 4 years old, they expect them to say 20 or 20. And that is very wrong. Why? Because the patient with 40 years old or 3 years old, he can say 20 on 30 or 20 on 25, which is uh, in another issue 8 on 10 or 9 on 10, etc. So you can expect a pediatric patient, you cannot expect them to see clearly 20 on 20 in the age of 3 years old or even 4 years old. But some pediatric patient in their 4 years old, they say 20 on 20. So it's so-so, okay? So you cannot say 100% and you cannot say 50%. It's depend about the patient, depend about the history, depend about the genetics, depend about the family history, etc. So there is a lot of information. That's why we ask parents. Uh, if you have someone in your family have a problem, if you have someone in your wife family, in your family, grandpa, grandma, etc. So there is actually a lot of works done in the genetics field. And in this photo, we are seeing the colors. The newborn, you don't see the colors, of course, and you don't see clearly. Even the 4 week, you don't see clearly. 8 week, you don't see clearly. You don't see the colors, of course. So the visual acuity and colors are the same until the turn age to 7 to 8 months. You turn out to see clearly the colors, okay, and at the age of 4 years old they turn to see clearly and the visual acuity. Okay, so yeah, so we can see we cannot see the blindness, the color blindness, because it's not a color blindness. It's just the development of the cones. Okay, we all know there is a three types of cones, so that is just a development of the cones. It's like every cells, every part in the human being. Okay, so it's normal thing. Now, I know that I discuss a lot of things, a lot of information. Okay, so this is a study, a very interesting study actually. There is two lines, the blue one and the red one. So the blue one it's the newborn, and the red one it's uh, the patient with 6 to 8 years old. Let's forget about this red line because we don't care about this right now. What is important is the blue one. So the blue one here in the edge of as we say, in the age of the newborn, most of the people have two diopter. Okay, some of them they have three diopter. It's a very rare thing, but you might meet someone, you might not meet anyone with this kind of situation, but it's still there is a chance to meet someone, so you should be careful. So what we are learning about this chapter. So the important thing is the normal axial. So the normal axial, as I say, in a newborn, it's 17 millimeters, and the age of 1 years old, it's 20, 19 millimeters. So this is very, very, very important, especially now I say especially in the myopia control treatments. Okay, in myopia control treatments, because in myopia control treatments we focus on the axial nerve, the axial length, and the refraction, and the corneal power, etc. So three of this, it's the most thing that we are caring about. The age of 1 years old, yes, if you have a patient with 1 years old and you did a refraction to that patient, you will find between plus 125 to plus 175. You might be, or you might have, or you might find plus one. Yes, it's depend, and as I said, it's just a statistic. So you should, you should, you should be smart in this matter, and do not rush and take some decision. Okay, even if you are not sure, you can take the refraction, and of course, as we know, uh, all the pediatric patients, we see them after 6 months. So each 6 months we should see the kids. Okay, the children under the age of 20 years old, we should see them each 6 months. So each 6 months you should compare. Do you have plus 125, and after 6 months you have plus one? Yes, that is a normal. But if you have in this like I say in this month plus 125, and the next 6 months you find that that patient have plus 1.75 diopter, well, that is, you should you should see what is going on, because it might be a pyropic patient. It may not be. It might be some accommodative spasm, etc. So there is a lot of problem condition. It's not just in the refractive, but in the binocular vision also. So we should do a research about that and see what is going on, especially if he don't have anyone in his family have a visual problem. Okay, and let's go to our subject, our important subject, one of my favorite tools, which is the retinoscopy. Well, I will see this, and I will take my my responsibility if someone exercise the pediatric refraction, but he don't work with these tools, which is retinoscopy, please don't call yourself pediatric specialist, okay? Because you are not. You are an ophthalmologist or optometrist and you didn't have a slit lamps. Okay, so it's like that. This is the principal tools, and I'm gonna talk about it and I'm gonna say why. But the first question is portable pediatric autorefractory better than retinoscopy? Well, the answer here is, of course, no. Yes, there is a lot of technologies, a lot of devices. We see them every single year. Yes, but no one of them can replace the retinoscopy. Why? Because of several factors. Because there is some factors that can affect the measurements, such as the distance, hand movements, and other variable. Okay, if like for example, if you have just a change of a head movement, you will have an error with the cylinder. If you have a problem with the distance, you will have a problem with the sphere, etc. Even the calculation, even the principle of these devices, electronic devices, it's very complicated, and it will not give us the correct result. So let's go to our tool. So the answer here, of course, is no. Our tool is retinoscopy. As we see here, retinoscopy actually is very simple. In the past, when I was a student, the first step to learn retinoscopy, the professor, I remember the professor give us a mirror, okay, a mirror, I mean it, a mirror with a hole on it and a flashlight. So we take the mirror with our right hand and the flashlight with our left hand, and we keep researching for the refractive errors and fix it. So this is how we learn how to use the retinoscopy. But of course, right now they don't use the mirrors, so they use retinoscopy. But some schools, and this actually it's very beautiful to learn the basics and then go and work with this device. So this device is very simple. There is a light source on it, okay, and there is a mirror. There is two type of mirrors. or we can say two modes. Okay, there is the concave effect, and there is the plan effect. We called it the concave mirror and the plan mirror. Okay, so you change the mode in this adjustment slave. So you change it with this slave, okay, and then you are working with each mode. So the principal mode that we all work with it's the plan mode, okay. So what is the case that we use the concave plan or the concave mirror? It's the case when we have a higher myopia or higher hypermopia, etc. Why? Because the image is very far. So to make the image closer, we use a concave mirror. As we know, the concave mirror make the image very close. So when I adjust the image and I found the not the correct lens, but I found the lens that take the image very close to the retina, then I turn the mode to the plan mirror to work normally, etc. So this is the trick. Okay. So the second thing I want to talk about, which is important, it's the working distance. If you go to the manual for Opto, you will see that there is in the side of the phoropter, you will find that there is a click, there is a number plus 2 diopter. Okay, so there is a click plus 2 diopter. Now you're asking yourself, what is the role of that lens, which is the plus 2 diopter? Well, that lens in the phoropter, their role is to use it with the retinoscopy. Okay, of course, it's not necessary to use plus 2. You can use every distance you want. You can use it with the 1 meter or 66 centimeter or 50 centimeter or 33 centimeter, etc. This is the distance between the patient eye, and the retinoscopy. So the distance here, it's what we are talking right now in this picture, which is the 50 centimeter. So this distance is 50 centimeter. Some of you gonna be comfortable with 33 centimeter. Some of you gonna be comfortable with 1 meter. But 1 meter, you should have a tall hand. I don't have. I have a short hand, so I use 50 centimeter, and I keep myself safe. I don't go to 33 centimeters. Some baby will do some tricky moves, so I don't get closer to to the babies. So I keep myself in the safe area, which is the 50 centimeter. Now, where we what is the plus 2 diopter? It's just a mathematic. It's 1 on 0.5, which is plus 2. This is the formula how we get, or how we change from diopter to meters, etc. So it's just a formula of diopters, etc. Okay, so we use the retinoscopy, and we did a lens bar. So there is the black one, and there is the red one. Okay, so the black one is there is a plus lenses in this black one, which is the plus lenses, and the red one, it have the minus lenses. So it's depend about the movement that I will talk about in the next picture. But the thing is, you should have a dark room, not like this, because it's very difficult to see clearly, or you might work, but it will be difficult. Okay, so you should have a dark room like this, or even darker on this. Okay, and uh, a light in the back of the patient, just to give the room a little of light to see your papers or the lenses, etc., and keep it dark in here to see the reflex of the light. Okay, so this is the technique. Some of you are gonna say this technique is very slowly. uh, why I will take 30 minutes with the patients and I have 100 patient wait in the room, right? No. If you practice retinoscopy, you will take the refraction uh, in 1 minute in the left eye and 1 minute in the right eye. Even I see some optometrists who take them 1 minute in both eyes. Of course, we are talking about a spherical problem as like a myopia without an astigmatism or epimyopia without astigmatism because it's very simple to measure. But if you practice more, you will get to use it more, and you will um, be like a professional in this. So no, don't worry. For me, actually, it's I can take like 2 minutes uh, with the patient with the retinoscopy, and I will find the final correction. In 2 minutes, 5 minutes, the patient will go. The mother will be happy, the patient will be happy. I am I'm gonna be happy, and yeah, that's it. It's very simple. Okay, so the next picture. So this is what you're gonna say if you are looking into the retinoscopy. So uh, we have three movements, or we have two movements. We have width movement. When you reflect the light, you will see that this light and the people go with the movement of this reflection. So we call it width movement, which means that you should eye that the image it's uh, it's uh, it's um, it's behind the retina, and you should add some positive lenses to make it closer to the retina. And in this case, we have against movement, as we say. So you move your stick in this movement, okay, in this direction, and you will see that the pupil refraction will go in this direction. So we call it against movement. Okay, so that means that this patient, the image is not behind the retina, in the front of the retina, so you should add some minus lenses. It's not means that this patient is a myopia. No, it just means that you should add some minus lenses. Okay, and this is the natural points. Okay, it's what we call the natural points. When you are doing a movement like this, you will see that there is no reflection. Okay, we call it natural point. It means that your light or your image is on the retina. Okay, so you stop. And this is in the case of an astigmatism. So what you are doing here is to move the streaks off, okay, in the retinoscopy until you get like this image, and then you keep move your stick until you find the natural point. So your objective is to find the natural point. Of course, if you have an astigmatism, you will find the natural point in this position, in this degree, and then you will return the axial streak and the against or the inverse of this position, which is this, and then you will look for the natural point and the other position or the adult axial. Okay, because as we know in astigmatism we have a different meridian, we have a different positions, we have a different image. So we should look at two of this image or two of these sticks. So let's see clearly what I mentioned or what I speak before. So if you shine a light into an eye that is on perfect focus, okay, like this, the light will hit the leg of the back of the retina, especially into the macula, like this, okay? And refraction will come back out of the eye, and you will see like a reflection that I showed you before. Okay, so the light comes over, comes into the retina, comes into the eye, and then come back out of the eye, and that's what gives us the refraction. It's a very simple physics rule. Okay, so this is what I say. So this is with movement, and this is against movement, and this is when we are shaving the natural point. So if you have this, you will have a with movement, okay, you will have damage in this area. So what happened if you add more plus lenses? Of course you will get like this. That's why you should add some minus lenses to get back to the retina, and you will have a natural point which is like this, and finally you will have your final correction. Now, we understand the retinoscopy, how the retinoscopy work, what I should expect on the retinoscopy. Let's go and discuss some technique. So there is two techniques. Actually, yes, there is two techniques. There is another technique, but it's not about this. So there is two techniques. There is a static retinoscopy and dynamic retinoscopy. So the static retinoscopy is in the far vision. It's when accommodation is relaxed, like this picture. And dynamic retinoscopy is in the near distance. So we put a target on the retinoscopy, okay, like this, or we use the flashlight like a target, and the patient should um, follow uh, that light, and then you will keep research for the natural points. I want to see, I want to talk about something very important. It's in this image. Uh, you can use a mirror in front of the patient and the screen back of the patient. If you have a small room, if you have like 3 meters, you can add a plan mirror, okay, to create a trim virtual distance, which is it will be 6 meters. So three real distance plus three virtual distance with a plan mirror. I'm not talking about concave mirror or concave. No, plan mirror. Okay, it will give you 6 meters, and you will work comfortably. The second thing is the screen, the test. Don't expect to do this exam like this. You are happy, patient happy, parents happy, everyone is happy, staff happy, the hospital is no. Of course, I'm not gonna speak this if you don't turn some cartoon. Yes, you can let the kid watch some cartoon in your screen, and you work, and then you can work easily and comfortably. Okay, so this is a trick that we use. We let the baby or the kid watch the cartoon, watch his favorite cartoon, and then we keep looking. After 3 to 5 minutes, we are done, or less than 3 minutes, we are done. Okay, so let's go to see some examples. So in the static retinoscopy, if you say, or if you have the natural point at the plus 4 diopter, then the field correction is 4 diopter. You add plus 1, plus 2, plus 3. There is a weight movement. Okay, let's add 4. Now you have a natural point, so the final correction is the 4 diopter. Now let's go to the dynamic retinoscopy. It's another story. If you achieve the natural point at +6 diopter, and okay, good. Now you can go to calculate your results. The final correction equal +6, which is the natural point, minus plus your distance work, as we mentioned before. So my distance work as I use is +2 diopter. If you use the 50 centimeters, then you can add here +2 diopter. So +6 minus +2, do the math, and it will give you +4 diopter. So I use a different uh, modes, a different technique, and I have the same result. So you can use every technique you have. If you have a baby under the age of 6 months, of course, you cannot use the statistic retinoscopy. He will not watch because he will not say anything. Okay, but if you have a child with a 3 years old, yes, he can watch, he can say, yes, he can follow. But someone who is under age of 1 years old, it's very impossible to do the static retinoscopy. So we move to the dynamic retinoscopy, and I keep my light as a target. Uh, Most of babies like something to watch something moving because it's very interesting to them, and children like to discover, okay, to discover things. So yeah, this is a very important and very good technique that you can use with children, but always remember to add your work distance at your final correction or formula correction. So most of you have a problem with pediatric population, which is the cycloplegic drops. Some patients, or I'm sorry, most of patients, you have a problem with doing the drops. They don't want to get cycloplegic, so they refuse. Some of them fight, so it's very hard. Some of them cry, and you will have a lot of noise in your cabin. You have a shame mother. You will have an angry baby, and in my experience, you don't want to mate, or you don't want to make a baby angry. Just an advice, okay? So, is there is any technique that I can take my correction without using a cycloplegic drug? So this is a very important technique. As an optometrist, I always believe that an optometrist, his role is to find the solution. So, is anyone find the solution of this problem? Yes, it's it's a Mohendra. So we call it Mohendra technique. It's made by an optometrist. She's a lady. Call it her name is Mohendra, and she's an Indian. Okay, this is actually it's a very honor to the Indian optometrist to know that there is an Indian who is creates a technique that we are working right now. She died like 3 years old. Based on her, yeah. So that is a wonderful technique, Mohinder technique. You can use a Mohinder technique with the patient without any cycloplegic. Okay, so that is a technique that I use with the children under the age of 3 months. I use the Mohinder technique. I see if they have a problems or not. If they have a problems, I mention that they have a problems, and I give them the correct solution and the correct treatments. So it's a wonderful treatment because there is a lot of specialists in some countries, some clinics, some hospitals, some areas. The you do what we called general anesthesia. So they do the general anesthesia to take the refraction of the baby. And there is a technique that we can do it more easily without any anesthesia, without any efforts, and you will make the baby happy. You will make the mother happy. You will make yourself happy, and yeah, that's it. So the Mohendra technique, you should have. There is like three rules. The number one is a dark room, of course. Dark room, not very dark, but it should be dark enough to see the light or the light movement on the retinoscopy. Okay. The second thing is the target. The target, it should be the light. So you will work with the dynamic retinoscopy in this case, as I mentioned. Okay. So the second thing is the target. You make it light of the retinoscopy. Don't do the stickers extra because the babies it will not follow the stickers. They will not see the image clearly because they have 3 months, 2 months, so it's very difficult. But if you have a light, you can use the light of the retinoscopy, of course, as a good target. The working distance, you can choose your working distance. For me, I use 50 centimeters. So, and then there is what we call the Tunis factors. A lot of you gonna say how you can take a refraction to a child without a cycloplegic drop and you expect to get a good result, because as we know, before the cycloplegic we will have the patient, we will have a +3 in the result. After the cycloplegic drop, it will be +4 or +5 diopter, so it will be more. But in Menhendra technique, there is a factor, we call it Tunis factor. Tunis factor is a reserve of the accommodations. It's like cars. So the cars have a reserve of the gas wall, right? Of the gas. So every human being have a reserve of the accommodation. It's called Tunis factor. Okay, so the children have plus 0.75 diopter. In the age of 40 years old, you will not have this factor. So when you are getting older and older and older until the age of 40 years old, you will lose the Tunis factor. It's what we call presbyopia. So it's the age that we will need um, the near glasses to see clearly in the near. So remember the Tunis factor, it's 0.75 diopter. It might be +1 diopter, but in general it's between plus 0.75 to +1 diopter. That's why we see children, they can read anything in the distance of 10 centimeters or 6 centimeters because they use the Tunis factor. As we know, there is a relationship between the convergence and the accommodations. More you convergence you use, more the accommodations you use, it comes in this rule, the Tunis factor. So that's why in our collection, in our calculation, we use this Tunis factor. So let's say that your natural point is +5 diopter. Okay, so it's +5 diopter, and your distance in your work distance, it's plus 2 diopter. So you will do the maths, plus 2 diopter minus plus 0.75 diopter, which is the Tunis factor. You will get in the end plus 125 diopter. That's why I don't calculate this, of course. Directly you will add this in this, okay? Because the working distance minus the Tunis factor, it's plus 125 diopter. That's why I say that you might have more than plus 0.75 diopter. And the final correction, you will add the natural points minus uh, the result that you will get from this, which is the plus 125 diopter, and you will get your final correction without any anesthesia, without any cycloplegic drop, without anything. But of course, as I say, in pediatric refraction, if you don't have a subject test, a subject exam, you will not have a correct correction. That is, there is a rule in optometry. The object exam, it's not like subject exam. So subject exam give us more detail and more, especially with the pediatric population. So this is it will be one of the correct and one of the best technique. Okay, so yeah, so this is the technique that I use. One of the best Mohinder technique, one of the best technique I use actually, and I advise you to use it. It's very, 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 very helpful actually. Now let's go to the cycloplegic drop. Very interesting actually, cycloplegic drops. We use cycloplegic drop for children under the age of 20 years old. Sometimes I don't use it with the age of 20 of 12 years old. Uh, there is some optometrists that say you can use I don't know how to call it. Yes, I don't know how to call it in English. It's la méthode de brouillard. It's the blur. Yes, it's the blur method. So, and when you do the test or your visual exam with the phoropter, you add plus 2.50 or plus 3 to give a blurry vision. It's very important because we turn off the accommodation and we work with the patient to get into the retina. But some of them have an accommodative spasm. So in the case of accommodative spasm, cycloplegic refraction is not enough. Yeah, so you can use the cycloplegic drop with accommodative spasm, yes, but not. It's depend about the case. Actually, it's depend about the case because some cases cycloplegic drop is not enough, and the blurry exam it's not enough. So we are talking about just for the normal cases, okay, just to take the refraction. So we have atropine. Atropine it's one of the famous cycloplegic drop. Anyone in the world, if you ask them what is the best cycloplegic drop, he will tell you, oh, atropine. Atropine is the one of the best. Yes, atropine is good. Atropine is good, yes, but the problem with atropine, it take much longer because, for example, in atropine 0.5%, the protocol that you should use in this kind of atropine is you should use one use it you can twice daily for 5 days. So you should give the patient the atropine and wait for 5 days, and then you can get your refraction, and it's not practical. So no, so nope, we don't use the atropine in refraction pediatric. Okay, what about cyclopentolate? Yes, cyclopentolate it's one of a good I don't say the better, but it's still a good cycloplegic drop. Some countries use it more than the others drops. In some countries, they don't use it, and they are lucky. I don't. They are so lucky because they don't use the cyclone pitonal. I'm gonna see why in the end of this chapter. So you can use this with an infant under the age of 1 year, but there is some kids under the age of 1 year. They have an secondary effect of this drop. So I don't use actually this kind of drop with the children under the age of 1 year. But if you use it, you can use one drop each one eye. But I don't I advise you for this. Use it just for the kids that have 1 year or 2 years or more. So this is the protocol: two drops each year, one drop after 5 minutes, one drop, and then wait between 30 to 45 minutes. It's a normal protocol, as we all know. And there is one of my favorite drop. I use it, I love it, and if I have a choice, this is the drop that I will give to all the optometrists in the world. The Tropicamid 0.5%. There is 1%. You are not actually, don't use the 1%. You just 0.5%. It's very convenient, and it's very practical, and it's very good actually. So the protocol is used 3 times. So one time 5 minutes, one time 5 minutes, one time, and then wait for 45 meter. I advise you to wait 45 minutes, and then you can do your retinoscopy or autorefractometer if the patient is adult, and then you can confirm with retinoscopy. Yes, this is a very good point. Um, if you have a child with 10 years old, you have a 10 years old in his age, you can use your this is just for the beginning, okay? You can use the autorefractometer, uh, and then and then you will get you will get a result, and then you can confirmate the results with the retinoscopy, just to make it easier for yourself. So this is a study that I did before with my colleagues. It's about the tropicamide 0.5% vs cyclopitonal 0.5% for cycloplegic refraction in children. This is actually the first study in the history and the visual science. So this is the first study that have done with the tropicamide 0.5 and cyclopitonol 0.5%. Okay, so you can read this study. You will find it in the Mar of Ophthalmology journal, or you can just Google it in Google, and then you will read it by yourself. So this is the conclusion. Um, the study showed that when I use the atropicamide with the patient, 82% of them have the correct result. For example, if I did the refraction with the tropicamide, uh, and I find that they have -4, for example, -4, 89%, 82% of them, it will be exact, it will be correct, okay? And the others, it will be more or higher correction with 0.25 diopter, okay? And I use the cyclopitonal 0.5%, uh, 80 80% of them correct, and the others are not correct. That's why I don't work with the signal pattern. And of course, I use all of this with, I use the retinoscopy and I use the subject test. And the study, of course, I take with the patient 1 week. I see them after 3 days. I see them and after 3 days, I see them to correct and to verify all the information. So it's a very interesting studies. You know, as I mentioned, it's the first study that it done in the field. So let's go now to the simulated. I know you, all of you waited for this chapter, the simulated retinoscopy clinical cases study. So let's go to the first case. So this is a human eye, of course. It's not an alien eye. It's a human eye. So this is a simulation. I use it with the students. I use it with even my colleagues. If I want to explain, or if someone of you want to learn and want to practice the retinoscopy, they can use the simulation. They will find it in Google. It's made by AO, which is I think it's made by AO. You will find it in Google. So in this case, my natural point it's -2 diopter. The working distance it's 50 centimeter, so it's +2 diopter as I said. So I work with the statistic retinoscopy in this case. So I will do the math -2 plus uh, -2 minus +2, it's -4 diopter. So you can use the math and you can calculation. It's very simple. Of course, by practice, you will not need this calculation. You will calculate it automatically with your hand. Now, so this is a spherical condition. It's very easy, very simple. But most of patient you don't have the spherical. It's rarely when we meet someone with a spherical correction. So all of them have a cylinder correction. Okay, it's what we call the spherocylinder correction. So in this case, I move my light, my focal light, and the natural point it's in the +450 diopter, and then I turn my stick against this light, okay, which is 135 degree, okay, which is this. So my natural point it's +3. Sometimes you will not have the color like this. Why? Because the lens we have 0.25, 0.50, we move by 0.25. Some patient you will need 0.10 because we don't have 0.10. You will see something like this. So we are looking for the nearest and the goodest one, which is +3. So you will take +450. You will put it here, and the actual degree it's 40. Here it's a 40 degree. So you will tape the against, which is the 135 degree, the same +3. The against degree it's 40 degree, and then you will choose which one. If your country work with a minus cylinder, choose this. If your country work with the plus cylinder, you can use this. And the working distance, as I mentioned, my working distance is 50 centimeter, which is +2 diopter. So the final correction, now you can do the math. +3 minus +2, it's +1, and here I am. I get the final correction. It's very easy. Now, the case number three. Sometimes you will get the natural point without add any lenses. So don't be surprised. But I always say it. I always say it uh, to to be carefully because when you are working with the retinoscopy, you should be careful to get the light into the macula, not to the optic nerve. Because if you get the light into the optic nerve, it will give you like this. So you will uh, you will have a natural point, but it's not a real natural point. So be careful. Okay. So you will add plan, which is 0, at the degree of so this is 90 degree. The against or the inverse is 180 degree. You will take 180 degree, and then you will reverse the lights to see if the patient have any any refraction. You should confirm, even if you have, I'm sorry, even if you have this case, you should return this light and examine every single axial to confirm that there is no cylinder. Okay, to confirm that this is a spherical correction in a spheric patient. Okay, so again, do the maths and you will have this final correction. It's a very easy. Of course, as an advice for me, don't use it with the pediatric refraction first. Use it with some colleagues or someone who works with you. And when you are, if I'm sorry, if you say if you see yourself um, good into it, on it, I'm sorry, on it, then you can work with an oldest patient because if you don't get the correct correction with this the the retinoscopy, you will get it with the subject test because he's an adult. So you will not do any mistake. And if you say that you are good and you don't make any mistake, then you can go to the pediatric patients because children, they don't speak, they don't understand, so no one of them can say, oh, I don't see clearly. No. So make sure that you are good on what are you doing. And thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any question, you can ask me now, or if you have any question, and next days or whatever, or anytime, as my colleagues, you can ask me, text me in my Instagram, and make your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Khaldoun. I must say this is extremely interesting and funny, really funny. I have never been a part of a webinar which is so interactive because this was actually interesting to watch, and especially your last slide. So everyone start clapping at your homes.
Yes, thank you. I don't like the boring environments. Even with my patients, I always like to make the environment funny and work happy.
Yes, yes, I get that as much. The session was truly insightful and clinically enriching. I think we all learned a lot from your case-based approach. Now, on behalf of OptoBharat, I sincerely thank the participants for joining today's webinar and contributing to its success. I hope you all have accessed the link by now. Also, please stay connected with OptoBharat for upcoming webinars, case discussions, and global learning opportunities. Once again, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day and take care.
Thank you.
You're most
Have a
welcome,
good
sir.
day, everyone. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. Is there any questions? Just to uh, if there are any questions, I can answer. I can. I'm sorry, Mr. Nabat. I'm sorry. So yes, if if there is a question, I can answer. If someone of our colleagues have any question, so because I don't see I cannot see the questions area. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I see the shots. Okay, this is okay. The best cycloplegic is tropicamide 0.5%. The best one. If you are using the cyclopentanol, don't use it. Please don't use it. Use the 0.5 percent because uh, I did a study. It took 2 years. I find that tropicamide 0.5%. It's a very, very, very useful. It's very good.
Hello.
Uh, well, actually, in my experience, I don't get much good results, and I make myself tired, and I make the patients tired. I make the parents tired. So no, I don't like that, and I don't have a good result in the end. I think it's just yeah. Yeah, I think he are talking about the working distance at in the slide. Working distance is not discussed from statistic retinoscopy. No, there is okay. I will get into the slides. I will get into the slides. The slide. The slide. The slide. The slide.